Hello, and welcome back. Last time we left off with this project, we had just finished Canarthy's Roost, and now I've completely rechanged my character. It's the same character, but I've dolled them up to be Rom, who is our Pact hero. So the design actually changed a little bit, and that is something I'm going to have to go back and do on this end once again, but I feel because we're in a cold environment, having him be a little bit more covered kind of made sense to me. But anyway, let's just get right into it. We're doing Bleakrock Isle today. Alright, so this is, in fact, where you would spawn. Shockingly, they actually got this one right, but not the other ones, which is odd. And you do have some interesting stuff going on, like right off the bat, we're being told about the Fighters Guild and whatnot.
Good to see you up and around. Figured you were crossing the bridge to Sovngarde for sure.
Where am I?
Bleakrock Island, off the coast of Skyrim. Holsgar found you washed up on the shore. Captain Rana will want to know you're awake.
Okay. One of the things that I do think will change when the inevitable update comes that will completely overhaul the base game zones is the buildings for sure. A lot of these things are going to be changed significantly, I want to say. Yep. We just dropped out of the air, landed in the middle of the ocean.
I'm short on good help, and I could use someone capable. Someone like you.
How did I get here?
A fisherman found you washed up on the beach. He brought you back to town. It's a miracle you survived.
So, what now?
You're the one Holsgar pulled out of the water. I'm glad you're up. I could use your help.
You wanted to speak with me?
You've seen combat, and I need all the help I can get today. Villages are scattered across the island. We need to warn them.
Warn them? Why?
We sighted a ship offshore. I've sent my troops to investigate. If it's the vanguard of an invasion, well, we'll need to evacuate.
Where should I start looking?
You'll find the people of Bleakrock all across the island. Darj, the hunter, went to Skyshroud Barrow. Iman's out at Orky's Hollow with his sister Rolanda. Sane, my sergeant, is out at Hossen's Folly.
Hossen's Folly? What's that?
It's an abandoned mine. A family came out from Stone Falls to work the place. Rumor has it, they're Daedra worshippers. Now some bandits are hunting through the place, and we need to know why.
What's Skyshroud Barrow?
It's an old dragon shrine. It's a relic of the Dragon Wars. Some of the villagers claim they saw undead out there. I sent Darj out to get proof.
Tell me about Orky's Hollow.
Locals claim it's haunted. They dare each other to spend a night inside. It's a silly custom, but a harmless one.
I guess I'll start there.
Tilrani Snowborn adopted Iman and Rolanda after their parents died. She won't leave without them. Send them back here, then see who else you can find.
Can I ask you a few questions?
I'll answer what I can. Captain Tilrani's got the villagers thinking I'm an addled netch, but I'm actually a bit smarter than that.
How did you end up here?
Posted to this backwater, you mean? I made a hasty decision. A bad call. Soldiers died. I learned my lesson. Now I don't act without proof.
And what does Tilrani have against you?
I took her job. You might have heard her yelling about that in the square. It's petty, but what can I do? Every time I've reached out to her, she's slapped my hand.
The best part is, you've got dates in these logs, which tells you exactly when the game actually starts, that being the very beginning of the year. here we are. Bleakrock Isle. I gotta be honest with you. This place really is not that much of a looker. In fact, it's so boring, and also incredibly small. Like, there is very, very little to actually be doing here. To a point where it's kind of like, what is the point?
I'm glad you're awake. When Hosgard brought you in, everyone thought for sure you'd die.
You a blacksmith?
Ha! Do I look like one? I'm glad you have to ask. I'm just Maisa's apprentice, so far anyway. She's been teaching me for about a year now.
Do you enjoy the work?
Ah, yes. We start with a lump of metal and end up with something useful. Horseshoes and nails and swords and what's not. I hear there are other kinds of crafters on the mainland, but I'd never be anything but a smith.
Why not?
Have you seen the size of Maisa's arms? Hosgar says she once punched out a mammoth. Smithing is a great way to let out frustration, especially after Otagar comes over.
Who's Otragar?
He's a fisherman. Fisher lad. He stops by every day to see me. He's always making dirty comments. Someday, my dad's going to hurt him.
Rana has no idea what she's doing. Did I ever risk your lives like this?
There's a lot of people in this village, you'll notice. Quite a few, in fact.
Good to see you again, mate.
Have we met?
You were unconscious at the time. I found you by the shore and brought you back to town. Marthor's been clucking over you since. So, what happened to you? Shipwreck?
I don't think you'd believe me if I told you.
I've been drinking stout all day. If you told me you were Arkatosh come to grant my wishes, I might just believe it. We have a sailing caravel. If it comes back, you can take it back to the mainland.
What do you mean if it comes back?
Some hours ago, the garrison spotted a ship sailing east. That young dark elf, Captain Rana, loaded up most of the troops in the caravel and sent them to take a look.
It hasn't been seen since?
That ship's a wallowing merchantman, not a warship. Like as not, they're all in the teeth of the ocean now. Which leaves this a fort without a garrison. No good comes of that, I says.
Are you a miller?
I'm the miller. The big windmill yonder? Mine. Not that I often have work. Nothing much grows here. Every month or so we load our caravel with fish and trade them for grain in Solitude. It's not efficient to mill it here, but it is cheap.
Take a load off. Our banks are the
Someday I'll hawk enough.
Yeah, most of the merchants don't really have any unique
our
dialogue.
mysterious guest. My husband Holsgar was the one who found you. If you're looking to buy supplies, you've come to the right place.
Where did Holsgar find me?
You washed up on the shore. Strangest thing, your clothes weren't wet when we found you.
So maybe we didn't fall out of the ocean. I recall being fished out, but maybe I'm wrong.
I handle the woodworking for the village here.
Crafting warm, sturdy clothing is the most... Thirsty?
Most Nords don't.
Hey there.
I don't remember why I came here, but I have every regret for doing so.
Yeah, most of the merchants
Leaving this place behind.
don't really have anything unique
Times
or
like
interesting
these,
to say.
It pays to...
They're just giving their pitch, their sales pitch, and that's about it. Yeah.
I hate it here.
Although you'll notice a trend.
Trust you in anything?
Most people do not like living here. For
Help
some
out a
reason.
poor soul.
For some reason, most people hate it here, and I can only wonder why. It's probably because it's an icy hellhole. With, literally nothing to offer anybody. Even to the point that the mill isn't even worth operating.
I don't like to talk.
So what about you and Litrek, eh?
Litrek's a child, and he smells of pigs.
It's a small island, Svilda. Can't be choosy.
It's big enough for me.
I think one of the biggest issues that plagues this place is, once again, the rocks. The rocks look terrible. The trees also, I think, look really bad. And overall, like, the terrainscape of this island is not the best.
Oh, so little time.
Like, I think this is one of the few locations that really needs some work. Like, especially when you look at the ice, like, oh, that just looks bad, you know? Like, I don't even want to look at it for very long. But I am going the wrong way. Let's actually make an effort to try to blow through this in less than 4 hours. The last time I did this, it took me 4 whole hours to get through it, but I do want to investigate everything the town has to offer first. But so far, it looks like most of these people aren't very talkative. Which is very different compared to Ralka, I almost said Ralka, Mistral, Canarthy's Roost. That place, damn near everybody had something to say, but here, it would seem as though most of these people really don't have anything to say at all, which is very different. And it's almost isolating.
That daughter of mine, you mark my words, she'll never amount to anything.
Why do you say that?
She spends all day with the blacksmith. She wants to move to the mainland and spend her life at a forge. That nice fisherman Otragar has been trying to woo her for months. She won't even listen to him.
Nice fisherman, yeah, sure.
You've got some nerve.
I will say, a lot of the world building in terms of the letters that you find here are very nice, right? They do a lot to establish just what the Pact means to these people in a way that most of the other zones don't really do.
You end up with pig droppings on them shoes of yours.
You're a farmer?
For all the good it does. Bleakrock is snowed over 6 months of the year. When it isn't, the soil's poor. We eat a lot of dairy. Aurochs can graze and eat hay from the mainland.
You live on cheese and milk?
We mainly live on fish, and that crazy Orgonian likes mud crabs. You know what I miss? Apples. Used to get them when I was a boy in Falkreath. No more.
Why did a farmer move to Bleakrock?
The Pact offered a bounty for settlers. They wanted the garrison at the tower to have access to civilization. But you didn't know civilization smells like Auroch dung, eh?
Yeah, so what they're effectively saying is that Bleakrock is established fairly recently so that this tower here can actually serve a strategic advantage, because it's more of a warning island. I guess the warning being it prevents Eastmarch from actively being invaded. And I suppose Eastmarch and potentially Vardenfell, but you would think Solstheim would be more strategically important, just because it's actually out in the waters, and if any boats were to attack from, let's say, the Covenant, or even the Dominion, right? It just seems a little far-fetched, because when you think about the logistics of these things, the Dominion is not sending a navy all the way to the other end of the world. That's insane. Like, such an expedition would take you forever. to get a fleet going like that. And no, it's absurd. I can buy the Covenant, you know, swinging around from Hrothgar and coming all the way over here. That's not that bad of a journey. But going from, like, the Dominion, like, let's say maybe they launch from Haven or something, or even southern elsewhere, still, why would you when you just go straight into Blackmarsh? Or even straight into Deshaun, or the Telvanni Peninsula, right? There's so many other targets to hit before you get there. It just seems a bit absurd. But anyways, where was I? Right. Farmers.
I've got a lot of work to do. Sorry.
Are the pigs keeping you busy?
It's not the pigs. I love these pigs. They're like messy kids. It's all the other work I have to do around here. And for what? Look at this place. Nothing grows here.
And why do you live here?
Ask myself that every night as I lie in the loft. Life's got to be better in Windhelm or Riften. Just a couple more seasons and I'm leaving. Father can hire some help.
I do think it's quite funny that they have farmers on this barren, icy island. Like, of all the places in the game, this is the snowiest one, unfortunately. It doesn't get snowier than this. But I do believe that is everything? Oh, maybe not. What is that, a wood elf?
I'm rather busy right now.
Interesting.
Yes?
This is the mill. Literally nothing to do in here. I don't even know why they made that accessible. Maybe there's a quest tied to it. I honestly don't remember. It's been so long since I've done Bleakrock. But let's actually go to our currently assigned quest. I do believe we've spoken to everyone we can in this place. Yeah, so let's hightail it out of here. What? Can I help you with something?
I can understand you. Oh my, I'm not a skeever.
Are you supposed to be?
No. Follow me. I'll show you.
Alright, lead on. This is where we get our first real glimpse of the open world. Honestly, pretty, unappealing. I'll just say it that way.
Trust this one.
Oh, thank Kine. You have it.
I also think she's supposed to have dialogue, and for some reason it's not playing. Can you explain what's going on?
My friends and I were out hunting in the woods when a mad mage ran up and began throwing spells at us. I think he only nicked me. He dropped that wand in the snow as he left.
And what does the wand do?
I don't know how spells work. I tried picking up the wand, but it wouldn't let me. I think it does the spell, or undoes it. Look, my friends are Falther, Brend, and Runzenwild. They're skeevers now. Please find them and use the wand to fix them.
I'll look for them, Mola. And this is one of those, they're scattered about on all four winds quests, so they're gonna be all over the place. Yeah, so they're basically, there's one in each area. So we can kind of continue with the quest that we were actively doing. Yeah, as it stands, I'd say Blackrock's one of the weaker locations mostly due to the fact that there's just not a whole lot of, how do I put it? Well-designed locations here. It looks particularly rough. Because it's just so barren, and in a way that, how do I put it? In a way that doesn't look nearly as good as the desert locations in this game. You can get away with a barren landscape, right? Alakir Desert is pretty barren, and it looks pretty good. And a lot of that has to do with the skybox and the color palette, right? Having that tan sand kind of reverberate off the land the way it does functions extremely well compared to what we get with, well, this, where it's just stark white, and there isn't nearly enough effects, right? Kind of like with Skyrim. You look at Skyrim, most of that, especially at certain points, like in the Pale and whatnot, it is just straight white nothingness forever. And it looks great because you can see all of the particle effects. You can see the wind. You can see all sorts of things. The wind, the snow, just you can feel the cold. Whereas with this place, I can't really feel the cold. It's just kind of not there. It isn't atmospheric enough. It is, unfortunately, too bland. There's just not enough here. Especially when you look at things like the coastlines, and it's just like the rocks. I can't stress enough how the rocks really do make a big difference in how the game looks. Because these rocks are rough, man. They're really bad. But there was a small little quest over here. We might as well take another detour while we're at it, since we're already here.
Praise Sithis, a traveler. Please, the poison's chill is getting to me. I don't know if I'm going to make it.
What's happened?
I came out here with 3 of my Fighters Guild comrades. We heard rumors of dangerous creatures in the cave. Then we found spiders. Argonians are resistant to poison. That's the only reason I got away.
What do you need me to do?
Save my crew. If I know spiders, my comrades are already in cocoons. Find Tethys, Nair, and Hunson's Shadow. Set them free.
I'll do what I can.
You should be able to get them out before they're a meal for spiders. We shouldn't have come here. I should have listened to the Guildmaster.
What do you mean?
We're used to taking contracts as they come. We pick our own jobs. The Guildmaster, though, she wanted us to go hunt Daedra. If only we had followed orders.
And that's, that right there is another nice little hint that I actually appreciate quite a bit. And it is the idea that the world is connected, and events are unfolding simultaneously at the same time. Or at the very least, they're unfolding in ways that are, uniform? Because I'm not certain if that dialogue changes whether or not the Guildmaster is still around, you know? Like, Season Colors being the Guildmaster. Because she does die at the end of the Fighters Guild quest. Spoilers for a 10-year-old game. But, I wonder if the dialogue changes, or if it maintains. Because if anything, really, the hunting Daedra part of the Fighters Guild maintains throughout the game. Like, it doesn't change as a result of the leadership, you know, altering. It's still consistent with what it was. So I wonder if the dialogue does get affected, or if it isn't accounted for. It wouldn't be the first time that it's not, so who knows. Yeah, like, these caves look particularly rough. Like, they're just... Lighting has a big part to do with it as well. And I wonder, are they going to keep these frostbite spiders looking like regular spiders, or will they update them to look like, frostbite spiders from Skyrim, the way we remember them? Big, gross, tarantula-like creatures that are the size of people, rather than child-sized spiders, which is still horrifying, mind you. But they're not, icicle-colored. They're, You know what I mean. Will those get an update, or are they just going to remain the same? It remains to be seen. But those are certainly things that I would alter, because I honestly don't like that, one, this is the only inclusion of frostbite spiders in the game as far as I'm aware of, and two, that they look like that. Really? This is the best you could do? And I know Skyrim was being developed at the same time as this, but, surely they saw the concept art. They could have made an attempt.
My comrades have returned. I erect the spine of gratitude. You are a hero today.
Glad I could help.
May your scales stay moist. By the way, we're not heading back to the village. We have our own boat, and we're getting off this cursed rock. If you're ever in Davon's watch, you should consider joining the guild. I'd put in a good word for you.
See, that right there has me rethinking how the Fighters Guild quest should go. Because there was no... I guess that's untrue, because the Mages Guild is actively referenced with, Canarthy's Roost, which is something I hadn't quite noticed on my first run through there. Is this the pathway I'm supposed to take? This is hardly a pathway. But it would seem that this is the path it wants me to take. I guess there is no real easy way to get to that little, hollow. Once again, right, oh my god, what's the word I'm looking for? It starts with, a D. Diegetic. Diegetic gameplay. Right, this area is isolated, and it doesn't actually have a pathway to it. You've got to swim over to it. Whereas you look at every other location on the maps, you know what I mean? Everything's got a beaten path to it at some point. Everything everywhere it's got to have a road that leads to it. There is no singular island off by itself. It's something that's very exclusive to the base game zones. Because after that, everything is built with a purpose, or it has to be there. Especially with houses, they will actively make roads just so that the houses can have places to stay. It's very annoying.
Come to prove your courage? So did my brother. Now he's gone.
Captain Rana sent me. I'm here to help.
Thank you. I just hope we are not too late. My brother never was the sharpest sword on the rack, but he's all I've got left.
Your brother is missing?
Aymond is inside this cave, somewhere. The Frozen Man does all sorts of things to people who enter his domain. I can't leave Aymond in there. Since father died and mother left, he's all I have.
Who is this Frozen Man?
No one knows. He takes people who enter Orkey's Hollow. Now he's taken my brother. I should stop sharpening this blade. You must go inside. I just can't.
Stay here. I'll find Aymond.
We knew a man, old Rory. He went in. When the soldiers dragged him out, he was missing all his bones. I'll give you until my fire burns out. Then I'm coming in after you.
Tell me about your brother.
He drinks too much, fights too much, and doesn't have the sense Kain gave a Horka. He's the best cook on the island, though. Since father died fighting the Akaviri, we've only had each other.
How long has this cave been haunted?
About 10 years ago. There was a collapse somewhere inside. After that, people started disappearing. As long as I can remember, the cave's been forbidden. Captain Rana lectures us every time someone goes in to prove how brave they are.
The entrance to this cave isn't that bad, but like if you were to zoom out and look at it, and then you kind of realize it's just not really built into anything. It's almost like a proper structure. It's like, well, then it starts to look a little rough. Because a lot of what I want to see change with these places is the structural design of them, right? Like, how does it make sense that this thing is the way it is, you know? Rather than, oh, we're just going to update the textures. I really hope it isn't just an updating the textures thing. I hope it's a complete overhaul.
This one's frozen. Is it someone you know? Guess who I am, and I might let him go.
Yeah, so this is the introductory puzzle quest for the Pact. And one of the things I find interesting, because Kynarthi's Roost is such a complete...
You'll make a lovely squirrel. So inquisitive.
It's such a complete,
How rude!
package.
Digging through my things. What manners?
Whereas the other two areas, right, Bleakrock, Balfoyan, Stros Mackay, and Betnik, they are all, they're separate. They're split in two. And they're more narrative-focused than they are actually focused on the the gameplay elements. Whereas Kynarthi's Roost is both narrative-focused, but also actually, teaching you how to play the game.
That's private.
That's something that I think this game kind of struggles with a lot, is teaching the players how to play the game, but you could say that about any MMO, right? Teaching players how to play the game is something that is taught by other players, frankly. Because it's the social experience of the game. It's something I've been saying for a long time, is that it's not the gameplay and whatnot that needs to be altered, but the way people approach it. That's the big problem with the game. Is that the barrier to entry is, one, I guess the gameplay in a sense, but two, appropriately telling people how to deal with it, right? New players are not welcomed by veterans very well. Or more specifically, because everyone is cornered off into different sects, where you've got PvEers, PvPers, questers, housers, crafters, you know, sellers, all sorts of people play the game for different reasons, whereas if you're a new player, you don't know what category you're going to be thrown into yet, and basically when you're starting the game, you're probably a quester. You're probably just trying to play the game. So, you know, having the tutorial zones really show you how to play it is probably a good idea, but at the same time, a lot of learning the real serious mechanics of the game should be up to the player, right? They should be able to either figure it out themselves or have other players help them along, not the game holding their hand. But anyway, I digress.
Have you any idea? Ooh, this is so exciting.
Let Iman go.
That's no fun. Go on, look around. Oh, and mind the bears. I never got around to changing them back.
Is there a third thing I'm missing? Oh, it would seem that there is. I could swear I had gotten everything. Ah, battered chest. Okay, here we go.
Look up, greedy squirrel. See something shiny? Don't break your neck. Astounding. You've accomplished the impossible, leaping small rocks.
Yeah, so the idea that this guy was a Dominion scout and somehow managed to make his way all the way up here...
What have you got, clever squirrel?
...is crazy.
Do you have a guess? Digging away, puffy little cheeks. What have you found?
You're a spy from the Aldmeri Dominion.
A spy, am I? But why? Oh my, you're a smart one. Whatever will I do with you?
I guessed who you are. Let Iman go.
That's no fun. Join me inside. We'll play a game of shells. Win, and you get Iman. Lose, and you'll be my newest squirrel.
Alright, one more game.
Here I am, or am I here? Guess wrong, and you're mine, my dear. No fair!
I'd like that puzzle to be harder, but I can understand because it's a tutorial, they don't want it to be too difficult.
Don't talk to me. I'm a shrub.
That's still one of my favorite lines in the game, because it's just so ridiculous. Delivery's fantastic. Let Iman go.
Your soul is missing. Want mine? It's black and gooey.
I won your game. Now let Iman go.
No. We're having old friends for supper. Drink some roots. Stay with us. You'll be safe here.
Safe from what?
The stones! The shiny ones! They're pretty until you turn your back, and then, whoosh! Skulls implode, bones shatter.
You're talking about a cave-in.
This is my safest place. My friends are here. Don't take them.
I don't want your friends, I just want Iman.
Want. Greedy squirrels. We wanted to leave here, but then... shiny stones. I ate them after. They were cold. They hurt my teeth.
What about this rune? Don't you want it back?
It gives me headaches, and it tastes like sawdust. Go on, you eat it.
Iman will die if you don't release him.
People don't die. They change shape, like Arroway. She's a candlestick. She's bright as the stars. And Tarak? He's never been happier.
If you don't let him go, I'm going to have to hurt you.
The shiny stones did that. The roots, the water, Oriel's 3 toes. I tried to save him, but his head wouldn't stop leaking. Now he's a milk jug.
Arroway's a candle, and Oriel's a milk jug, and that makes you a bear trap, doesn't it?
So?
So, nobody wants to get caught in a bear trap. Not even squirrels.
That's the first thing you've said that makes any sense. Fine, take Iman. Just leave my friends alone, and don't blame me if the shiny stones get you.
Yeah, and these icicles look weird and ridiculous, and I think it's because they're just mushrooms retextured to be icicles. Which is, like, really bizarre, but, like, if you look at it too long, you can't unsee it.
What happened? Did you see those Covenant soldiers?
Covenant soldiers?
I saw a group of them exploring the cave. They laughed at me, hanging in the ice. Then, the frozen man got them.
Let's get you out of here, Iman.
You don't have to tell me twice.
Yeah, if there's one thing...
to save me.
You're lucky I came at all.
If there's one thing the tutorial zones do really well, it's, like I said, pacing. You start off doing, like, humble little things, nothing too crazy, like, oh, I'm just killing spiders, or oh, I'm just doing this. And then it slowly, you know, exponentially gets more and more intense. Just like with this, right? Now we've got hints of Covenant soldiers. Before it was just an idea, now it's like, no, they are actually here. We're raising the stakes.
Where did you find him?
The frozen man had him. He's all right now.
Kind's gift. We'll head back to the village right now. Rana's going to flay his full hide. I can't properly repay you, but please, take this. It was our mother's. I can't thank you enough for finding my brother.
There were soldiers in the frozen man's cave. They were from the Daggerfall Covenant.
Soldiers? Here? That's ill news. I'll get my brother back to the village. In the meantime, you need to find missing people. There are a lot of us scattered across the wilds. Find as many as you can.
I'll find as many as I can.
We're going, dumb ox.
You should have seen it, Rolly. That cave is incredible! He had treasures. He was child-sized, like a baby man.
Go in there again, and I'll leave you to rot.
How are they getting out of here? Okay, yeah, I was gonna say, like, what, are they just gonna swim across? No. I don't think I've ever seen an NPC swim. I don't think they're physically capable of it. I do suspect, right, especially when it comes to creatures, all of the base game wolves and whatnot, those will probably change in design. The bears will probably change. Everything's just going to get that new-gen spice that it's had prior, if that makes any sense.
Thank you.
Alright, it wants me to go to Skyshroud Barrow next. I can tell Captain Rana to evacuate early. That's also another interesting choice. It doesn't change anything, it just means more people die, which is, like, really messed up, but I do think it's interesting that you can make that choice narratively. Yeah, I think a lot of what just makes this place so empty feeling is the fact that there really is, like, nothing here. It's just so bland, as it were. Like, I think if the trees were taller, unironically, I think the trees being taller would help it quite a bit. I feel like I'm doing something out of order here, like I shouldn't be fighting this guy yet. I have to stop those bandits. And this is another one of those interesting things where, back in the base game, you would have a lot of your own character's internal monologue kind of letting you know what kind of character they are. And in this case, we've randomly stumbled across this camp, killed the bandits, and decided to do the heroic thing all of our own volition.
You're not one of the bandits. Help me!
How did they capture you?
They got me in the forest. We were gathering firewood. Dedring, my brother, tried to fight. They split his skull with an axe. I thought I was a dead man until you arrived.
Let me untie you.
Sure, Bones. Thank you. I'd like to kill every one of those bandits, but I'm no fighter. I'm glad you are. Kill a few for Dedring. I'll buy you a drink back at the village.
Yeah, and that's it. That area is quick. Quick and painless, pretty much. And we can continue down the path as well, if there is one. Yeah, here we go. Yeah, you see what I mean, though? Like, it's just something about this area is so, like, ugly, and I think a lot of it has to do with the trees. The trees just don't look good. They don't look very full or filling, and it's that combined with the sloppiness of the rocks makes them look really bad. And you've got all these odd, like, little footpaths and places that clearly have been traveled, but not necessarily. And just the idea that people can get lost on this island is quite hilarious when it's like a 15-foot trek back to the village. Like, these places are not big by any means. The biggest part of this island is Skyshroud Barrow, the place we are about to go to. Everything else is, like, small in comparison. Because I remember coming to this place when I first did the game, and I was like, man, it's like Skyrim. It's like a big Skyrim place, but something about it felt off. And I think it had to do with the fact that it was just so, like, big? I don't even know if that's the right word, but something about it was oddly shaped. And it was uncomfortable to look at. Like, when you look at this place, like, yes, it looks like a knockoff of a Skyrim location, but at the same time, it's not even, like, a proper one, you know? There's not enough going on here for it to be a proper one. Oh, whoops. Let me put my weapon away first. There we go. Ah, man. Yeah, like, when I look at this island, especially from its highest point here, it's not very spectacular. Especially, like, it's really not anything to look at. It's just so bland. So we're here at the Barrow. I'm wondering if there was like a quest or something that I'm missing. Cause I'm up top. I'm here. I'm waiting. But I'm not seeing nobody. Got a sky shard. Maybe I am missing some. I think maybe I was supposed to approach it from this angle. But they didn't actually account for if you do approach it from the other one, which is odd, because usually they're pretty good about stuff like that. I gotta be honest, I've never approached it from that back end before. So let's try that. Let's try just running back to where we're supposed to be. Yeah, there it is. Yeah, so we really did just kind of approach it from the wrong angle. Where is this guy? Where'd he go? Okay, he's up above now. He was really just gonna run all the way to me.
Something has to be done about these undead.
How can I help?
The dead walk at Sky Shroud. There's an evil power radiating from within the shrine, but the door is locked. In the Skald's tales, every dragon shrine had a priest. If we could speak with Sky Shroud's priest, he could tell us how to get in.
Speak to his spirit, you mean?
If Shore is willing, yes. I brought a bag of incense to burn as an offering. The bone men got me before I could try the ritual. You might have better luck. What do you say?
Give me the bag, I'll see what I can do.
I hope
you have better luck at the shrine than I did. Watch yourself in there.
What can you tell me about Skyshroud Barrow?
The barrow has been here for as long as anyone can remember. Legends say a cult of dragon worshippers built it, as well as the shrines like it on the mainland.
No one's ever tried to get in?
Some folks have, mostly youngsters. Until recently, this place was haunted by dust and the occasional frostbite spider. Now, skeletons rise from their graves. Something has changed.
We still got Brend, right? Yeah, we gotta get Brend as well. So there's still a handful of things to do before we can cap this off, but it's looking like it's only going to be maybe like an hour. Not a bad time, honestly, all things considered. We've blown through this relatively quickly. Oh, they did actually update his appearance. That's crazy. Before, he did not look like this, from what I recall.
You dare summon me?
I need your help, Spirit. How can I enter the barrow?
Can you comprehend the power I once had? Why should I help you with anything?
Someone has desecrated your shrine.
Yes, I can sense them. Some worm defiled this place. You are now my will incarnate, mortal. Enter the barrow and kill this worm.
I will. How can I get into the barrow?
You need to ask Bat. Once everyone knew the ritual. 3 runestones unlock the door. They're placed in prominent positions around the shrine. Find them and put them on their pedestals around the door. Then you'll gain entrance. Now go.
Man, another one. Man, we're level 15 already. Holy crap. We're really flying through it. We're gonna be like level 20-something by the time we're done with this whole first tutorial zone section. Where's the... Hold on, yeah. I'm doing this in the wrong order. So we got Eagle, Whale, and Snake. So they managed to get the general gist of Skyrim's lore down with the hyper-simplistic layout that they all have. These things that they worship for some reason that we still cannot discern. Another thing about this island is that we absolutely should be able to see Solstheim, Morrowind, and Eastmarch from here, but much like with all the other locations, right, we're looking in this direction, we should be able to see Morrowind, and we can't see anything. In fact, when we're done with this area, or I should say, right before we do the final quest of this area, I will do a bit of a stroll through, like, the entire zone, just to kind of see if we can't see anything. You know what I mean? Just really get a glimpse of all the corners and whatnot, things we have yet to explore. I do think it's funny. I remember having trouble with these first couple of enemies on my first run of this game. How funny that is, looking back at it. Like, when you're a new player and you really don't know what you're doing, yeah, you will have a hard time. Especially with no set items or nothing. To be fair, I'm not really wearing set items either, and I'm still just destroying enemies. But I think a lot of that has to do with champion points. Which I did a lot champion points, just so that this would go a little bit smoother and not take nearly as long. Which I think, at the end of the day, will probably be more beneficial for us. Especially when you keep in mind that we're going to have more than just these zones to run through at some point. Alright, now we gotta place them. And I think, I'm not 100% certain on this, but I'm pretty sure someone has turned Bleakrock into a DLC for Skyrim. And if not yet, they certainly will eventually. You know, look at this place. It's even got like a full-on dragon door and everything. I think that texture is new, though, if I'm being honest with you. I think some of these things did get altered post-launch. I want to say, anyway, because that design looks way better than the original design that they had for these doors. I could be mistaken, but I don't know. Maybe I'm just misremembering it. I don't remember it looking that good. The texture quality on that door is too good.
I stand once more at the seat of my power. I am a spectre, a mere shade, forced to watch as a necromancer defiles my body. Kill him! You have fulfilled your purpose. Well done, Worm.
Yeah, someone already killed the Necromancer, but it is interesting to note that the Necromancer is actually a worm cultist, which is quite interesting. Yeah, and he was banished by the Covenant, so he is a worm cultist who was banished by the Covenant, caught within their own ranks, I suppose.
The undead are gone. What did you do?
Found evidence of a necromancer working with the Covenant.
The Covenant here? Troll's blood, I have to warn the village. I'll head back. See if you can find any of the other villages on the island. We may have to evacuate soon.
Yeah, so there's only a couple other spots that I want to look at real quick. There's a couple other areas that we need to check as well, but just a couple of spots that I want to see. Like, we've got this corner over here. They actually bothered to put a bear in right here, even though the texture work for these parts looks particularly bad. Like, look at that. Like, it's still snow-covered, but it really shouldn't be, and it just looks rough. It just looks rough. But it is funny how many small little details they do put in, even though they don't really expect people to find them. Like, I wonder how far up I can climb this before the game tells me no, stop. Yeah, that's the limit. So there is a hard wall right there. You cannot get past that, no matter how hard you try. Ooh, in fact, I might have just gotten stuck. Okay, now here we go. Yeah, when you're mountain crawling like I am right now, you usually end up seeing a lot of things you're really not supposed to. But even looking at the intended view, it's like, still, it leaves you wanting. Like, there's just not a whole lot going on. And of course you have this whole other side of the mountain, untouched, unusable, there's nothing there. You've got this whole little lake section. There is one small boat here, but I can't remember if that's for a quest later or not. I could be mistaken. But yeah, let's just do a quick little stroll of this side before we head out. Yeah, there's wolves out here. Your usual Skyrim fare, as it were. There's a Deathclaw out here. I think this is tied to a quest, though, so if I were to go forward a bit, I might end up catching it, because I am kind of darting past the lines quite a bit. Yeah, here we go. Because I remember there's some guy that loses his foot. I think it's this dude here.
Curse that Deathclaw. Ate my foot. I had to use my boot and some leather as a tourniquet. Damn it.
What happened?
I've been tracking the beast for weeks. I call him Deathclaw. I finally caught up to him, but well, it went badly.
If I can find him, I'll get him for you.
Now there's a plan. If you bag him, I'll toss you some coin for your trouble. As I made my escape, some stuff fell out of my pack. You should be able to follow what I dropped, like a trail back to his lair.
I'll track him down, Hocknir.
Follow the trail I left when I made my escape. You'll know his lair by the bones, blood, and smell. Tempt him with some game, and I bet you'll get his attention.
Why have you been tracking this beast?
I've been hunting beasts in the wild of Skyrim all my life. Deathclaw ravaged a couple of herds near Kynesgrove. I took on a contract to end him. I always fulfill my contracts.
Well, not anymore. You lost your foot. We're just gonna sprint our way back over there. I'm not gonna bother going on foot. It's just gonna take too long. Yeah, I can't remember. I think Deathclaw was like some sort of strange creature. I want to say it's like a bat or something. Yeah, it is. I was gonna say, because like if it made it all the way to Kynesgrove, that's crazy. And this is Deathclaw's lair, and it's just like a, you know, a boring little cave. Nothing serious in it. So we still have to do Hazen's Folly. Can't forget that. So there's still quite a few things we need to do here. But the sun is getting low. And it will be nightfall soon.
I'm going to have to head back to town soon, my friend. Lost a lot of blood. How goes the hunt?
I've killed him, Hocknir.
A hunter with the heart of Iskramor. Here's the coin I promised. I'll sing your praises next time I see the inside of a mead hole. Don't worry about me. I know the way back to town. Wound or no wound.
We do have the tower here, which we're going to look at real quick. I also want to see, can I get through in an alternative way? Yeah, see, like this little pass here, I actually like this a lot, because you can see it's got those snow mounds. That adds a lot to the atmosphere of it. Yeah, and it's just like a little sneaky little shortcut out in the wilds. A natural mountain path. Oh, interesting, eh? We've got Covenant Marksman up here. Level 16. Wow, we're really just flying through the levels here. Although I will say, interestingly, there is no quest, so I don't even think I'm supposed to be up here yet. But I do think that's quite funny that you can be up here before you're even supposed to be. I do like how good of a shot this gives you, though. Like, look at this view. You really can see quite a bit from up here. Yeah, that is quite the view. Look at that. I wish I got this shot earlier, because this is quite a good-looking shot. In fact, can I get that barrow? Yeah, there we go. That's the shot right there. Perfect. Beautiful. Beautiful. I hate that you can't jump when you're in that camera mode, though. But yeah, my only real other complaint about this place is that you can't actually see, like, beyond there. right? Because we should be able to see Blacklight and all that, but we get nothing. We should be able to see Morrowind over there, but we get nothing. And just like all of this... Oh, I'm too close. All of this empty space over here. Aside from this, that is kind of used later, but you know what I mean. This whole mountainside... Like, we could have been doing more with the space that we had. Especially over here, that's all wasted. It's just mountains. But since we're not actually supposed to be up here yet, we can make our way down. And look at that! There's even a polar bear on the cliffside here. Because they knew people would be making cheeky little shortcuts like this. That is quite funny. Yeah, I mean, like, look at how much coastline there is. Look, they got polar bears out on that thing, too. It's odd, but, like, this side over here honestly feels much more well done than the part they actually have you traversing. Because when they treat it like it's an actual, you know, polar mountainous island like this, with all this elevation, it feels much more natural than what we end up getting. You see that weird looking tree over there? That is quite odd. But let's make our way over. I do like, you can ride the ice flow pretty much all the way from one end of the coast to the other. Very cool. I like that quite a bit. I hope they maintain that. Even though that is goofy, it's a nice little detail. So we do have a quest up here, which we will knock out real quick.
My husband, Galund, went fishing yesterday morning. He never came home. I went looking for him this morning with my dog, and now my dog has wandered off.
You're not having very good luck today.
No, I'm not. The last place I saw Rex's was near our mill, just north of here. Take this whistle. Use it when you get over there. I'll wait here in case he comes home.
I'll find your dog. And your husband, if I can. Oh, there's an owl in there. Look at that. There's a couple of owls hanging out. Alright, so this guy... Use dog whistle. Okay, so we actually have to go over here somewhat. I should see where he wants to go. I definitely think, because I think there is a dog petting animation now. I think they will incorporate a lot of that into the base game, because there is a lot of, like, stupid instances like this, where it's like, go on, boy, go find your master, or whatever, you know what I mean? Like with, that one dog in Daggerfall that effectively starts the main quest, which is ridiculous. I forget what his name was, but, you know, stupid stuff like that, stupid stuff like this. It is quite funny. I know we just passed over that guy. We'll come back and get him. We gotta follow this dog, don't you know? It's leading us to his master.
Thank God. My boat sank off the coast in a storm. It was unnatural. I saw colors I've never seen before. I drifted for hours on a plank. I thought I was dead.
You're gonna be fine, Galen.
Just give me a second, and I'll head back home. I'll lean on Rexus when I get tired. Halmera will be worried sick. Thank you.
So that's an interesting one, because of the fact that he mentions that there was a weird storm, and he didn't know what was going on with it. Champion's Point. Yeah, so this just has those little statues on it. And I think it's funny, there's a bird kind of floating in a way that it's really not supposed to. Oh, that's so silly. I do like how the two moons kind of like meet with that. It's another good screenshot conceptually. But unfortunately the two moons are too different in their position for it to really work well. That floating bird is quite annoying though, I'm not gonna lie, because that kind of ruins the shot. But it really is, like, from certain angles, Bleakrock is pretty nice to look at. Like, that looks good. That side honestly doesn't look too bad. It's just, there's nothing there. You know what I mean? There's nothing going on there. If there was more going on, then I'd be more inclined to say, like, yeah, this place looks great. But honestly, it's only from a distance. Like, once you get closer to Bleakrock, like, look how pointy that particular mountain, like, that looks bad. You know, like, that looks unnatural. And I guess you can argue that's the style of the game, and technically it was the art style of the time, but it's progressed in a way. ESO has effectively left behind its original design philosophy, its original art style, and moved on to something more realistic than it was, in some ways.
Thank you.
Alright, we saved him. Now we just gotta talk to Mola, who is in the middle of town. Which, we might as well head that way, because there's, I'm pretty sure, nothing else between us and Hazen's Folly now. So we'll just book it there. And you can see as well, like, this is the lumber camp area. This is where they've been getting all of their wood from, which is why there's so many owls out and about, because they've lost their homes. Like I said, there's nice details all over in this base game, you know, in the world building itself. It's just, it doesn't look good. Right? Like, you've got all of these miserable attempts at farms, and it just looks bad. But I think that looks bad on purpose. It's supposed to look bad, because this place is not intended for, you know, actually farming. Like, clearly.
Mud crabs. Delicious creatures.
You eat these creatures?
Of course. The Dark Elves and Nords turn up their noses. That just leaves more for me. I'm no good running on wet decks anyway. It's the lost toes.
Did you lose your toes to a crab?
No, but I let the elves think so. When I was younger, I sailed on a legitimate trading ship run by Khajiit. When the Dark Elves caught us, they took my toes for thieving.
Oh, jeez. Well, that's, horrible.
Thanks for your aid. That was like being touched by Sheogorath.
The mad god Sheogorath can't resist meddling with mortals, eh? His disciples all belong in a cell.
I'll never look at a cat the same way again.
Oh, they're alive! And they're not furry anymore!
I'm just glad I could help.
I don't know what we'd have done, living out the rest of our lives as cheese-eating rodents. Ugh. If I ever find that mage, I'm going to show him what it means to be vermin.
So it's interesting, as far as I'm aware, that mage never comes up. Like, they don't find him. Which is honestly hilarious. I also find it quite interesting.
This before.
I don't know. Tilrani did keep us all safe for years, but Rana is captain now. We should listen to her, right?
And there's also some interesting stuff here.
Feeling better?
Isn't it cold to go without a shirt?
What, this? It's good Skyrim weather. Not even squalling. Come back in the dead of winter.
Cold enough to freeze the hairs in your nose.
Have you lived here long?
Aye, me and Tilrani built that house ourselves, board by board. When I got here, I never dreamed my commander would bed me. Even less that she'd like me enough to take Mara's vows.
That's funny.
Stay calm.
All this stuff that was in there. We have to go back and get some. The evil baby man must be gone now, right? Wow. Did you see that? And that other and... Oh, come on, Raleigh.
I swear, if he goes back to that cave again, I'm going to punch him in the throat.
The throat. Wow, that's crazy close. I've never seen that character before, and I didn't realize how close that surname was to my OG, my OC. Jesus.
Accounted for. No one gets left behind. Everyone stay calm. We've done all this before.
I wouldn't have thought those milk drinkers would leave their cozy taverns to come down here. I'll have to get this wound seen to then. I'm going to need my sword arm.
Yeah, so like the town's already in a bit of a fright.
First bandits, now the Covenant. I wish Deadring was here.
Don't worry about me, friend. It'll take more than losing a foot to send Hocknir to Sovngarde. Walking back to town was an experience, though. I think I blacked out a few times. Thank kind for me, huh?
Must make sure
I can't believe he made it
everyone's
back.
accounted for.
I'm
No
glad
one
you're
gets
awake.
left behind.
Yeah, she's got nothing new
Everyone
to say, though.
stay calm.
And I think that's everybody we encountered. Alright. Enough dilly-dallying. Let's get this over with. Let's head over to Hazen's Folly. I want to say the island looks better at night, but I don't even know if that's true.
That cursed ship is the least of our worries. Bandits are plundering the mine, looking for artifacts.
Why are they here?
They're alert, looking for something. Had to kill the one behind me before he warned the others.
How can I help?
How are you at subterfuge? I'll stay here and keep an eye on these bandits. Take the uniform from our friend here, then get down into the mine shacks and see what's going on.
I'll do it.
Grab some gear from our friend here. His kit will help you slip into the mine unnoticed.
Why is this place called Hazen's Folly?
I'm not entirely sure. It was named after a prospector who came out here with his family. They said they were mining for iron, but folks saw them wearing dark robes.
Dark robes? Were they cultists?
That's the story. One day there was a fire and the whole camp burned. Locals said they heard monsters roaring. The place has been boarded up ever since.
How long have you reported to Captain Rana?
I've been her second in command since we arrived on the island. She really is a skilled commander. This just isn't her finest day. Or mine.
Why? Oh, I already said that. This is one element that wasn't introduced in Khenarthi's Roost, and that is disguises. Disguises are something that are only present in the base game, and that's it. They never make an appearance again afterward. It's very odd and very unusual. I don't know why they felt the need to incorporate it when a regular stealth section would function fine. But I think it kind of goes hand in hand with the philosophy of the game, which was, you can be anyone you want, you are not that important. And these are Vermina cultists, Lady of Nightmares, which is interesting, because that almost never comes up again in the Pact, as far as I'm aware. Yeah, occasionally you'll have to make a back way in, just because the guards are so alert. Or you just hope for someone else to distract them long enough. But yeah, there was a whole village here, and it's gone now. So, in terms of sequel stuff, right, if they want to actually continue the plot line here, having this place be rebuilt would actually be quite interesting. I wouldn't mind seeing this place make a comeback. Actually have a town here so that Bleakrock, sorry, isn't just, you know, a miserable little hovel, especially after what happens later. I would be quite interested to see this place rebuild in some sense with brand new characters, or maybe even some old ones coming back, who knows.
Get lost.
The boss wants me to check on the relics we already found.
Quick, come inside. We've almost made it past the scamps. I heard them say the portal is just beyond.
Thanks.
Who are you? Please don't hurt me. Guards! Intruder!
Yeah, that's embarrassing. This cave's also pretty bland. There's not really a whole lot going on here. Yeah, we don't really need the disguise anymore. We'll just clear our way through it. Looks like most of these people are already dead, so someone's been doing the work already. There's not really a whole lot to say about Bleakrock, frankly. It's just isolated, right? Which is probably the same thing I'm going to say about Betnik and Stros Mackay. I think Balfoyen, honestly, is the only real interesting one of the bunch because it is actually part of the world. Which was an odd decision for them to make. I do like how this dungeon particularly follows the Skyrim philosophy of, oh, it's just a normal cave, and then it turns into something more as you progress. Because this went from being a regular ice cave to now it's an actual Nordic ruin full of Daedric portals and whatnot. Daedric portals, which, mind you, will probably get actual upgrades later on. Especially since we're now in Oblivion. We've teleported into Oblivion. Which is very interesting. Because I genuinely don't remember this. And it's Vermina Oblivion too, because you can tell from the banners on the wall that it's Vermina. But other than that, it genuinely doesn't look any different. Oh, look at that. They changed the asset. At least I'm pretty sure they did, because I don't remember that being there. I mean, frankly, I don't remember this at all, but you can't tell me that was in the base game. Look at that design. That's too ornate, especially when you compare it to what it's standing on. The texture work is immaculate compared. Like, nah, that was added in post. That was so added in post. But I do like that design. I do think it's interesting, like, it runs on sigil stones, which is crazy, because that's so unlike Vermina. Typically that's something exclusive to Mehrunes, in a way. Oh, it just wants me to leave the mine? Oh, and I guess it did just kind of spit me back out to where we were, so yeah.
So, what did you find out?
The bandits were contracted by the Daggerfall Covenant to steal a Daedric artifact.
A Covenant contract? I smell a distraction. That ship we spotted might be the start of an invasion. We've got to get back to the village.
She just teleports. Alright, and back to the village we will. Time to tell Captain Rana to evacuate. And if I'm to be honest, there's not really much else to see over here on this side of things, because there is... well, there is nothing to see. We've seen it all. We actually can't go much further than that, because those mountains are impassable, and we're not really allowed to climb them. Which is quite unfortunate. I would appreciate it if we could. And you see this little puff of smoke cloud here? That should be present more throughout this entire region, and it isn't nearly enough. And I assume the reason it wasn't is because of you know, graphical restrictions, things like that. They didn't want the game to be too hard on console players at the time, or especially lower-end PC players. But they kind of gave up on that since most people are more accommodating to that sort of thing now. No one really cares. Oh yeah, the Northern Lights can happen here sometimes. That is nice. I just want to get a couple of good screenshots here and there. That's kind of what I've been focusing on every now and then, is just getting like one good shot to hopefully decide what the final one will be. Oh, and Sane's back.
I thought Tilrani was always a bit paranoid. Today I think she's right. We've got to get the civilians ready to move.
I'll prepare the town for evacuation. Find as many people as you can and send them back here.
I've gathered all the missing villagers, Rana.
The people of Bleakrock owe you. I owe you.
Let's get going.
You're right. We can't wait any longer. Vivek preserve us all. The Covenant is here. They've taken the signal fire, and we need to warn the mainland. I need you to carve a path through them and light it. The beacon stands atop the tower just outside town.
Where are you going to be?
I'm going to rally the villagers and get them ready to go. Find Tilrani when you're done at the tower. She'll hold the way open. She knows where to go.
I'll do it. Good luck, Rana.
Get that fire lit. We'll be ready to go when you get back.
Where are we going? Has the boat returned?
I don't expect to see those troops again. We're headed for a beach on the far side of the island. They don't think I know about it, but smugglers sometimes anchor in that cove. I just hope we catch a break.
I thought Tilrani was...
Yeah, so now we go up to that tower, finally, after all this time. Also, there is a graveyard here. You might not think that's what this is, but that is what this is. It is a small graveyard, which is a nice detail that they even bothered to give this place one. I do think the graveyard looks a bit ridiculous, since some of them are actually just like straight up wooden planks. I think they could do a bit more than that for these people. I think. I would hope. And I won't get into the narrative implications of this for my character, since it doesn't really matter, currently. Are there any books here? Nope. Alright, on the way up. I do find it interesting how they just have like what appears to be a traditional Breton tower up here, rather than something more Nordic in design. It also, this tower, like, completely towers over it. Like, you really can see everything. Almost a bit too well. Because I actually can't see anything outside of this. It's crazy. What? No, go away. Random. Yeah, what a shot of the town over here. I don't think I will take a picture from this height, though, just because we've already got it. But, you know I can't help myself but to do this, if I can. I don't think I'll be able to make it. I was gonna say, can I reach the water from here? Maybe if I'm on my horse. Alright, let's get some... Oh, definitely not. Yep, no. Oh, that's funny. But you will hear a bunch of conflict happening now, and I probably should have approached from the appropriate side, but I do think it is all the more interesting to approach these things the wrong way and to see how differently things go. But unfortunately, as you can see, there isn't really a whole lot of difference. You just approach as though things were normal.
Too many. There were just too many of them.
The signal fire is lit, Torani. What happened?
The Covenant is here. They set fire to the village. Narald and I tried to protect the Earth-Turner family and the rest of the farmers.
Where are they?
Denskar headed to the bunkhouse. Ira tried to take shelter in my home. Then the soldiers set fires, laughing. Please, you have to get water. Save our people. I came to warn you, but the troops, they caught up to me.
Take it easy. How can I help you?
You can't. Don't come back for me. Just get Ira, Denskar, Litrecht, and Trinhild. I didn't see where they went. Rana's at the old tomb. Tell her I forgive her. Find the Earth-Turners. I'm going to sit here and let the fire warm my bones. Maybe I'll take a few more of them with me before I go.
Yeah, so she's not gonna make it. And this is where things start to get interesting, because you'll notice quite a few bodies littering the floor now. None of them are really recognizable for the most part, but if they are, they'll have names to them. Right? Like, you've got a bunch of random Orcish warriors. Those are all just Covenant troops. You know, there's nothing unique or interesting about them. But yeah, the whole place is on fire. Like, they've set fire to the whole thing. Which I think is quite... It's not funny, but it is interesting the way that's turned out. Yeah, and here you can see, what's his name, didn't make it. That was, the Snowborn husband. He was defending Rana's office, it would seem. But yeah, they want me to put the fires out. It's just seeing those details is nice.
You can't swing a dead cat.
Extinguish the house fire.
I got in trouble.
Which one? There's a lot. Is there anyone else in this home with him? No.
The
soldiers chased me in here. I thought I might burn alive.
You can make it if you run. Hurry, get to the tomb.
I can make it. Thank you.
But yeah, most of these people did not make it. Like, all of them are like as good as dead. Because I think those were the those were just like the merchants and whatnot. Like, the merchants don't make it. Most of these people do not make it. Just gotta check everyone's house, you never know.
The soldiers are everywhere. Where's Tilrani? I thought I'd be safe with her.
Tilrani's not here. Hurry, run to the tomb.
I bet she's there now. I'll see her there. Thank you.
We don't tell her the truth. We just straight up lie to her. Yeah, Tilrani's you know, she's not here. She's not here. I'm sure she'll be fine though. I'm looking around for more bodies, just because you never know. But yeah, they slaughtered all the farm animals and everything. All of the farm animals. Doesn't look like anyone actually tried to stop them, though, which I guess is a good thing. Better that way. Less death. It is quite sad, though. This is also one of the few instances of like a proper sacking that we actually see in the game. We never get anything quite like this ever again.
I just couldn't help it. I ran. I'm sorry.
You're gonna be safe. Quickly, run to the tomb.
Kind protect me. Thank you. I'll go.
That's what he said.
Yeah, like if we go over here to the, what used to be one of the most convenient places in the world. The outfit station's still usable. All of the stations are still usable, but, all of the people are gone. Because they are more than likely dead.
Pride of the Lion!
Yeah, like the banker didn't make it.
Who's got a whetstone?
They're just burning all of the farmland. Honestly, I'm not seeing as many of their bodies as I thought I would. I would expect to see more bodies than I am. So that is something that I'd like to actually see change. Because I'm looking around as hard as I can to be like, hey, where's all the people? You know, where did everybody go? And it really is just kind of looking like, yeah, you know, they just didn't put the bodies in. They put a handful in here and there, but they didn't fully commit, right? Like, not everyone is here. They're even burning the boats, which is a crazy detail. Like, none of the boatswains are here. They're all gone. None of them. The only one that's still here is Lizel, which is hilarious. She really shouldn't be, but she is. That one fisher lady is gone. She died. Oh, and Autrek over here. Or Otragar. Otragar didn't make it either. He's dead on the rocks over here. Pushed to his death, it would seem.
Tilrani told us to run. I thought of the water and all those calm days in the surf. What was I thinking?
Your family is gathering at the tomb. Quick, run!
Yes, my family. I should go to them. Here I go.
Here I go. I do think it's sad, especially because, like, there's some things that I think would be suitable for a change, right? Like, Otragar and this girl clearly didn't make it. Maybe that has some sort of effect on Trinhild, considering, you know, those are the younger people of the village, and Otragar is a suitor looking for suitable partners. Of course, the Argonian didn't make it, and as a result, he's being fed on by crabs instead, which is like a really dark, twisted humor thing to do. Bren, Mola, Faltha, they're all here, but you'll notice Hunson Shadow, or whatever his name was, is gone. So, he didn't make it. Or something like that, you know what I mean? Because not everyone's bodies are here. That's what kind of makes it confusing to keep track of who lives and who dies. Like, I guess I can go up to Captain Rana's place again and see who made it, right? Like, over here, this person didn't make it. I forget what her name is, sorry. Or is that Trinhild? Or Trelana? I thought she was somewhere else. Interesting. Yeah, if we go into Rana's office, let's see. Are there people in here? Did people try to get in here to be safe and they didn't quite make it? No, it seems entirely separated from the horrible event that's going on outside. So that's actually a bit unfortunate, you know? I'd like to see consequences for the things that are unfolding here. But we really don't. I mean, not that we don't, but there isn't enough, per se. Right, like, the most bodies we see are these two here, and I honestly can't remember their names, because they were just merchants, you know? We don't really see anyone else. We just see a few people who we didn't really get attached to, and the people that we did actually interact with, we don't really get to see their bodies. And I know that's like a weird, morbid thing to say, but for a storytelling purpose, right, you build up this whole town, you interact with all the people, and you intend on saving them and whatnot. You'd think at the very least you could have some interaction.
If they try to take the villages, we'll stop them in their tracks.
If those bastards push on the tomb, we'll push back. We are not mice. We are men.
Thank you for coming along when you did. Ugh, excuse me.
Yeah, so this also implies that Mola, Brend, and Faltha intend on staying behind to cover everyone's tracks. Meanwhile, everyone else...
I'm going to kill Covenant soldiers. They let you do that in the Pact army. If I have to, I'll just buy an axe and start walking west.
I loved Tirani, I really did, but I'm not going to let Trinhild run out of here lusting for revenge. I forbid it!
We made it. We have you to thank for that. May Kain always guide your steps, and may Shor always keep your soul.
They're dead. Everybody's dead, Litrek. Everybody's dead.
I wouldn't have thought those milk drinkers would leave their cozy taverns to come down here. I'll have to get this wound seen to, then. I'm going to need my sword arm.
Okay, everyone else is here, it would seem.
The Covenant has made a mistake. I'm going to make them pay for what they've done today. They'll regret the day they crossed me.
Rolly, what happened? How could they do this?
Don't worry about me, friend. It'll take more than losing a foot to send Hocknir to...
Yeah, so he's got nothing new. Oh no, Runs and Wild is here.
I fear the flames. The heat is drying my scales from here. We must escape down the river so we can swim again another day.
Good to see Vivek has kept you safe. We'll make it out of this. I trust Rana, and I trust myself. We'll make it out.
Rexus. Oh, that's sad.
I wish I wasn't so weak. I'd grab a sword and run those bastards down.
We were reunited, and then all this happened. Damn them.
Yeah, that is crazy. So, yeah. This is everyone that made it.
Welcome back. The villagers you rallied are ready to move.
Then we've done everything we can.
I just wish we could have done more. Well then, are you ready to get off this rock? You and I are going to lead the way through the tomb. The locals call it Last Rest. Darj and Singh are going to bring up the rear. We'll make sure everyone keeps moving.
Are you sure we can make our way through?
Tribunal willing. I've studied a map of the tomb's layout, but I never dared to enter. This place is old. The original inhabitants of Bleakrock rest inside, and not quietly.
What are we waiting for, then? Alright. Let's go. There's like, what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 if you count them. 16 people are making it out of here. Everyone else is dead.
2 switches will shut these traps off. We need to hit them at the same time. Get the one on the far wall. I'll hit mine when you do.
Yeah, those traps are also really bad because you can just avoid them super easily.
Darj, bring them through.
It's a really cool sequence, though, I'm not gonna lie. Just having them bring everyone back in. And, like, seeing actual formations.
So many dead because of me. I don't know if I'll be able to live with myself after this.
The villagers need you to lead them to safety.
They need a leader, but they're stuck with me.
Where do we go from here?
I need you to unlock a door deeper inside the tomb. That door will have stones with flower symbols upon it. Head through the door behind me. I'll see you soon.
Door behind you. Yeah, so then it's just more random cave stuff. It's really what it feels like. Because this place really feels like they were channeling a lot of the Skyrim dungeon concept, but not really understanding quite how it functions or works. Is a lot of the feeling I get from it. And I think, honestly, some of this could just be tightened up. Like, this whole maze thing, like, that's really annoying. I mean, not that it's annoying, but you know what I mean. Like, it could be spruced up. It could be tightened up somewhat.
This way.
I also find it interesting, she seems to know a whole lot about this place.
We're almost out. I'll unlock the door at the bottom of the stairs. In the next room, there's another switch I'll need you to trigger.
Yeah, like, she just seems to have omnipotent knowledge about this place, even though Nobody's been in it.
I'll meet you on the other side of that door. The cove should be just beyond this door. I'll go on ahead. Wait for the rest of them here.
Also, look at that beautiful piece of clipping going on right there. Yeah, that could definitely get spruced up. So you'll notice there's less people now than there was originally. Yeah, do my big spinny flip thing.
Things have never looked worse.
Hello there.
So Runs and Wild is still here, Hocknir
so
is still
shaken.
here, Halmera, Mola, Darge, Sane, Rolunda, Iman. The whole Earth Turner family. But you'll notice her, where's her husband? Oh, there he is, there he is. Alright, let's do a head count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
I've never known such
6,
fear.
7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. 14 if we include Rana. So yeah, most people didn't make it. Or I should say, the two friends of Mola stayed behind. Foltha and Brend, they chose to stay behind. And this is that little cove they were talking about. Which, as far as an area goes, like I said, it just looks like jumbled mess. There is like an odd rune stone here and there, but not really a whole lot to go off of in terms of details, right? There's no real story to be gleaned here outside of, hey, it exists. And also, none of these people can be talked to after the fact of escaping that whole horrid thing. When really now would be the time to talk instead of, you know, seconds before we're all going to die.
Travel down the river is not cheap. It's a good thing your friend here is a fast talker.
And so the interesting part about this is that we're going to go from here all the way down the river to Balfoyn. We're not stopping at Stone Falls. We're not going to Ebonheart. We're stopping in Balfoyn. Specifically, we're stopping at the westernmost point of Balfoyn, which is quite odd. I really don't know why. But Balfoyn, I think, is actually a really well-structured region, especially considering how small it is. But we will get to that when we get there. For now, I think we'll round this out. So, unfortunately, once I talk to her here, we're going to be plucked from this region, so there's not really going to be a whole lot more else to say. So I suppose I'll just post up real quick and have a little talk about exactly what I think about Bleakrock as a whole. And if I'm to be honest, I don't think Bleakrock is a very appealing zone, right? I think in essence what it's trying to do is, because Skyrim, they knew Skyrim was going to be a big deal and they wanted it to kind of tie into that a little bit. They made effectively a mini Skyrim in a way, where you've got the dragon cult temple, you've got just regular ice caves and all this other weird nonsense, and it's coherent, but it doesn't really tell me a whole lot about how to play the game. In fact, the only new thing that's introduced to us was disguises. Aside from that, we didn't get the tracking thing. We didn't get... I mean, frankly, there wasn't any stealth gameplay in the original tutorial either. And then just regular gameplay-wise, there was a couple of bosses to fight here and there. But otherwise, it felt quick. it felt very fast. Now, to be fair, we still have Balfoyen, and we can't really judge Bleakrock on its own, since Balfoyen is meant to, you know, be a pair to it. But it still feels a little lacking, especially in terms of world building. I feel like the whole Bleakrock is under attack thing could be maybe not stretched out, but added on. And that's what I mean when I say I hope that the overhaul that they're doing isn't just visual, but a complete one, right? Keep the story elements relatively the same, but add pieces here and there to it, so that it feels more complete and not just like a rush job. Because oddly enough, Khenarthi's Roost felt very complete for what it was. There's a few things here and there I wish they elaborated on, but for the most part, it's pretty good. Whereas Bleakrock, as much as I like the plotline of saving these people and doing all this stuff, we really don't get to know them all too well. At least not as well as I'd like, before we end up killing them all, because the whole point of it is supposed to be the impact of the Three Banners War. That is the entire crux of the Pact plotline, is dealing with the war and actually getting the Pact to work together as a team. And Bleakrock actually does a really good example of setting that tone, right? We're instantly met with consequences of war, and also instantly met with we have to work together as a team, otherwise things, you know, fall apart. But it's definitely... It's okay, but it's definitely not my favorite zone. I don't think it's at the bottom. Stros Mackay is at the bottom. Stros Mackay is absolutely at the bottom of the board for me. I don't think Stros Mackay is a very good zone. Bleakrock is better by far. But visually, I mean, just looking at the rocks I'm staring at, boy, those things need some work. You know, like those... Everything to do with Bleakrock visually needs an upgrade. It just feels so low-res and poor quality. Like, whereas, like, I look at Khenarthi's Roost and it's, like, nice and beautiful. Bleakrock does not give me that same feeling. And I don't think it's supposed to, but at the very least it could have some sort of natural look to it, rather than sharp, jagged, cartoony edges. Another zone that I think is hit hardest by this, you know, aside from Eastmarch, is Rivenspire. Good God, Rivenspire looks awful. But, we'll get to that when we get to that, whenever they decide to actually rework Rivenspire. But for now, I think we are done with Bleakrock, and we will be making our way over to Balfoyen. So, let's talk to Captain Rana.
Our shellback friend here will get us to safety. He's a hero of the Pact. And for what I've promised to pay him, he'd better be.
Where are we headed?
I fear the Covenant would intercept us if we went straight for Darvin's Watch. So we're going to make for Dalmora, a small town down the coast. Are you ready to go?
Yeah, so that's it for Bleakrock. I hope you all enjoyed this. This little look into this area. There's really not a whole lot going on here. It's quite small, and you can get through it in what appears to be under an hour if you didn't stop to look and smell the roses like I did. But yeah, that's all we've got for today. Hopefully I did a good job of showcasing the land. I thought I did anyway. But yeah, Balfoyen is up next. Dalmora is where Dalmora is the name of the city, but Balfoyen is the region. So, until next time, I hope you all enjoyed, and I'll see you all then. Let's get out of here.